All right, we are hanging out with Matteo Pellegrini of the OrangePill app. This is our second video and time to catch up with him. And wow, there's a lot to catch up on because he is building a company that has grown a ridiculous amount since we first spoke with him. They've had an insane 2024 that has had revenue and user growth that has been tremendous, right? Just like Bitcoin's growing, Matteo and his business is growing. So we're going to dig right in. We've got a bunch of questions. He's a founder that has an exit. He's got a lot of knowledge to share with other founders who are out there, maybe building in the space or building around Bitcoin. We're going to talk about the social layer of Bitcoin and how he's gotten to a profitable company and where he's come today. So for those who don't know, orangepillapp.com is the website. They have incredible reviews on both iOS and Android. I think 4.3 and 4.8 stars or so. So if you're not already on this app, meeting people around you, finding out about events and having all sorts of fun with it, you should definitely check it out because it is awesome. And then, of course, on X, it's OrangePill App. Give him a follow, and he's very active on there with lots of cool stuff. Everyone's favorite spam-filled website, which Matteo is trying to put out of business, just joking, is LinkedIn. You can learn a little bit more and connect with Matteo on there. And then, of course, we're not going to talk about it a ton, but for those who are interested, you can head to thunderfunder.com and you can check out this offering here for the OrangePill app. So first off, Matteo, how are you? Where are you? And I know that you put it on there that you evacuated California, which actually came from your app. You want to start off by telling that story real quick?
Yeah. Hey, Mike. Good to be with you. Well, yes. So I was very close to the recent LA fires. And yeah, eventually what happened is that I didn't think I needed to evacuate, but, the fire grew so fast. And, I have a family and kids. And so what happened is somebody reached out to me when the fire started on OrangePill App. And they said, hey, man, if you need a place to be, just let me know. And I told them, like, yeah, I'm not going to evacuate that. And then as soon as I realized I have to evacuate it, and I also realized there's no point in evacuating from a Los Angeles neighborhood to another Los Angeles neighborhood, meaning you have to leave the entire city, which obviously is very big. I reached out to the guy and, he'd say, yes, I have a guest house, come stay with us. And so we went to the guest house, which is lovely. And, it's one of the many use cases of OrangePill App is like, it reminded me how important it is to build your local Bitcoin network, and you have to do it before, not after, right? It's great to have all these people that, even though maybe you never met them before, because they're into Bitcoin, they're Bitcoin maxi, they're on this app that you have to pay for. There are all these filters that create this special place where you basically, you trust everybody, instead of don't trust, verify when it comes to the social layer. It's almost the opposite, which is very interesting dynamic. And so, yes, we spent a couple of days outside of Los Angeles and, thankfully the house didn't burn down. So, we're back home now.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about how it started and how it's going. Okay. So from 2022 to now, what is the difference? What have you learned? And how has the journey been so far?
Well, how long do you have? It's a long story. It's a lot of lessons, but the reason why I started this app, it's actually very simple. It's because I became a Bitcoin maxi, let's say around 2020, Michael Saylor time. And then I went to a meetup. I went to Bitcoin Miami in 2021, which was the first time I met Bitcoiners in real life. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I want to meet more of those people. So when I went back to LA, I'm like, okay, let's go find a meetup, right? So I went to this meetup. It was like October, November of 2021. So right at the top of the previous bull market. So I drove an hour, I went to this meetup, and half of the people are like, "Oh, yeah, NFT, Ethereum." And I'm like, I thought this was a Bitcoin meetup. And so as I was driving back home, I'm like, wow, what a waste of time. And more important is like, there's got to be another way to find local Bitcoiners. And I cannot be only me that have this problem, right? And that's how essentially I came out with the idea of building this location-based social network for Bitcoiners. So we use the approximate geolocation of the device, which means 10 miles radius. The joke is that we don't deliver pizza. So we don't need to know where you are. We just need to know roughly the area so that we can show you nearby people, nearby events, and nearby merchants. I mean, what I've learned, well, see, a couple of things that I've learned is that, so once I realized how to solve that problem of, local discovery and coordination, I had the other problem of, okay, how do I make sure this app does not become like the meetup that I went to, meaning it's half Bitcoin and half not Bitcoin. So eventually I figured out, okay, I'm going to take this app and going to put it behind the paywall completely, which as far as I know, and I think I would know by now, has never happened before. So I started a local social network from zero, completely paywall. And it's kind of a miracle that it worked. But I think the reason why it worked is because Bitcoiners intuitively understand if you don't pay, you are the product. And we don't like that, right? We don't like to be the product. And also the other insight is that in the Bitcoin world, there is a lot of noise, right? Like if you turn on CNBC and there's somebody talking about Bitcoin or crypto, it's the same thing. And the example I give is like, Mike, hey, I like to play basketball. So yes, I love basketball too. And then I show up and I want to play tennis. So it doesn't happen in all the other segment of society. But in the Bitcoin world, you could say, I love Bitcoin. And I can say, I love Bitcoin. But what I really mean, I mean crypto. So this is a very unique problem that we have, which is why, again, the paywall work. I mean, the lesson that I've learned is that making people pay to use your product from the beginning, number one, you find quickly if this product is actually needed, right? I didn't want to spend years to figure out if what I was building, that cost money, cost time, was actually something that the market wanted. So I charged everybody from the beginning, and we have very good growth. And then there's another dynamic: is that the people that end up using your product are only the people that really want to use your product, which makes the product, since it's a network product, much better. So we don't have spammers, we don't have scammers, we don't have bots, we don't have impersonators, we don't have Bitcoiners, we don't have Bitcoin tourists that never reply to messages, So yeah, so the paywall, which it's very counterintuitive, I think is probably 50% of the reason why we've been successful, because we filter the people that get in. The people that get in, or they're already paid, so they want to actually help the network grow, which is a reason why we have so many, 5-star reviews. I think we broke a record, if I'm not wrong. We got 100 5-star reviews in 100 days from zero, which is probably a record. Other lesson that I've learned, Bitcoiners are very passionate. They will literally, they will go above and beyond to support Bitcoin companies and Bitcoin projects. So there's a story where somebody bought 2 GigaChat memberships. So we have a membership that used to cost 500,000 sats. And somehow somebody figured out how to buy 2. So I called the guy. I said, hey, how did you even buy 2? Maybe we had a bug, right? Oh, yes, I have 2 iPhones. I was transferring from one iPhone to another. And I'm like, okay, look, I'm going to refund you 1 membership. Of course, you already got the most expensive membership, which, by the way, doesn't give you any extra features. It just gives you a nice badge. And I hang up the phone. And then I had another call. And by the time I got to refund the guy, I got an email from the guy say, hey, you know what? He pulled the money. And I'm like, this only happens in Bitcoin world. Like if you buy 2 Netflix membership by accident for $10, you're gonna be on the phone and say, hey, give me the money back immediately. So in the Bitcoin world, there's a lot of dynamics that are almost inverted from the fiat world. And yeah, it's, somebody got married to the app. I know you love the dating app aspect, Mike. It's almost like, so somebody got married to the app in 1 year, actually. It's just very remarkable. There's been people that have found husband and wives. There's people that have found the best friends. I was on a call yesterday with somebody in Pennsylvania that all of my friends come through your app. I was like, oh, that's amazing. Because being a Bitcoin maxi, it can be very long. That's the problem, right? That's why so many people have used this app, because you start listening to the podcasts and reading the books, and then the world doesn't make sense anymore. And you think, Bitcoin fix the money, fix the world. But everybody else in your circle doesn't want to hear about it. Actually, they think you're crazy. And so you go down like kind of this, like a hero's journey, right? Like you're a normal person, you found Bitcoin, and then your worldview changes completely. And then you become lonely because there's nobody that want to talk to you about this new perspective that you have. And then eventually we found about OrangePill App, and we have 15,000 members globally. There's people in China. I don't even know how they download the app because I'm sure it's banned, the App Store. We have people in Saudi Arabia, Iceland. There's a funny story. There's a guy in Iceland, maybe a year ago or more. He said, "Hey man, I don't want to sign up if I don't know if there's anybody in Iceland." And I'm like, you are in Iceland. Yes, there is nobody in Iceland, but you can be the first. You can be the first Bitcoin on OrangePill App in Iceland, and maybe somebody will travel to Iceland. So he ended up getting a lifetime membership, which is $100. And a few months later, he said, "Man, you were absolutely right. I got a membership. I joined." And 6 months later, somebody was laying over from a flight from London to, I don't know, New York or Canada, and was on the app, and they messaged each other, and, they went for a beer or a dinner. And I was so happy, because even though there's probably like 10 people in Iceland, there are big corners, he was able to find one that I was traveling through. And so, yeah, so what we do is like, there's 3 kind of like circles of competence, let's say: Bitcoin, social, and local. So everything that is Bitcoin and social and local, that's our mission. So we build the technology that, accelerate these dynamics, again, local, social, and Bitcoin.
So, so it's definitely been working, and the numbers for 2024 don't lie here. So, what I'm showing is plus 126% on revenue year over year, and plus 76% in paid members, which is remarkable. That is exactly what you want to see when you're running a business like this, and you've been pretty set on everyone paying. I know you like to joke. You say, even my mom pays for the app. And you're projecting $1 million in revenue for next year. So that's a pretty lofty goal. We're going to talk about that and where that would come from. But I want to take a second, and I actually want to just focus on some other milestones and things that have happened in 2024, because it's been a pretty healthy year for the OrangePill app. So what I've got here on the short list, and I'm sure I've missed a few things, is, launched merchants. You have a new domain that you acquired, and actually a new website in general. You hit that big 10,000 member number, and now, of course, you're at 15 or over 15. A few other little fun features like a dark mode, the events website, the Explorer which allows you to kind of look in other places, maybe that you're going, or to search other areas and not just be located to, to your area there. You added a senior developer, you secured your trademark. I know there was a little battle there for a minute or two that you were victorious in.
Oh yeah,
And
was a miracle. That was definitely like a miracle that we were able to pull off. Yeah, I don't know if you want to give me the background story quickly, but there was a multi-billion-dollar public company called Orange that basically almost killed our business. And me and ChatGPT, I should tell Sam Altman that I used ChatGPT to basically win this battle. That was, everybody said, no, change the name, don't try to fight a multi-billion-dollar company, just change the name, you just launched. And I said, no, I'm not going to change the name. And yeah, we got a trademark after we won that battle. We got a trademark. It took us 19 months to get a trademark. But now nobody can take us down anymore.
yeah, I remember when you were going through that, and congrats on your $20 a month lawyer.
Yeah,
That is great.
best lawyer I ever had, man. Best lawyer I ever had.
So over 400 Bitcoin only events. You launched the local feed, the Noster login. So 2024 has been a darn busy year for you. And I don't know, how do you manage to ship that much and do that much in a year? Because I mean, how many people you have over there? Maybe 3 or 4 on the
So,
team time?
well, as of today, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4.5. But the way I manage is, some of the things, so I'm not a developer myself, but some of the things that you see here, I built it with ChatGPT. So I was able to do some of these things. I did it by myself, which obviously makes product velocity, increase fast, because I just, instead of telling a developer, I say, hey, let me tell ChatGPT, and at night I go and do it by myself. And then I am blessed with, some of the best developers, and not in the world, but, like I always, so my developers that I've been working with 10 years now, we had previous apps, previous companies, and I've hired developers for almost every country on earth. You name it, I probably work with some developers. And funny enough, the 2 developers, the best I ever found, are from Italy, which is not exactly a place where you expect to find great developers. And one of them is literally from my hometown, which I never met before, before we met as colleagues. And then I told them, 10 years ago, you guys should move to Silicon Valley and make $500,000 a year instead of being in Italy. But, not everybody wants to move and be an immigrant. But in any case, so I'm blessed with a, great technical team, even though everybody's part-time. They've been able to, they're really fast and they're really good. And now I found a guy in Argentina, which, it's a funny story. I thought he was Argentina. He actually is French, but he's living the nomad life. The guy's 27 and he's an AI developer. Basically, he's a native AI developer because he just learned to develop like 3 years ago. And so instead of being like, like the old school developers, you learn the language, he just started with AI. And it's fast. So this 27-year-old guy is faster than my 40-year-old developer that have 20 years of experience because of AI. So if you're a developer and you don't use AI, you're just not going to make it in this environment.
Well, if you're anyone and you're not using AI in this environment,
Yeah.
I mean,
For
but
developing is really good.
to give Matteo some credit here, let me just sing his praises and tell a very short story. So we were doing a Satoshi Nakamoto and we needed a ticketing platform, and I didn't really want to use Eventbrite or one of these others. And we couldn't really do it with some of the other Bitcoin companies in the space. They really weren't interested in cranking this out. And sure enough, Matteo took a weekend with ChatGPT or whatever he did over there, and he launched that website that actually worked beautifully over a weekend, and it worked perfect, and everyone paid in Bitcoin, and we had the list. And he said, hey, we plan on launching ticketing and these type of things anyways, So might as well. And, that's really what you want to see in a hungry young founder. So look, we talked a little bit about 2024 and all that good stuff. Maybe we can just go through some of the exciting high level things on the roadmap here for 2025. So do you want to take us through this or
Yeah, sure.
go for it?
So the wallet, which is almost ready actually, if you go to the web app, which is web.orangepillapp.com, you can already play with the wallet. It's receive only for now. So we're going to launch Bitcoin only, Lightning only in-app wallet, obviously custodial. So what I realized, I can tell you the story why. So you told me from the beginning, you need to have a wallet, you need to have a wallet. I said, no, I don't want to have a wallet. Oh, there you go. You can do a test right now if you want. Go to receive. I'll send you some stats.
I would love to take some free money from you, Matteo.
Yeah,
Um,
of course. Click on receive.
So also, I just want to pause here, which I
Yeah.
think that is really cool. And for me, this works great because I'm on my desktop all day long. And for the longest time, OrangePill app was really an app that was native, just to your phone, and you could kind of like install it on your Mac here and have it running. But I'm really a big fan of the web app once Matteo decided to do that. So look at this now. I mean, I'm guessing this is still in beta or still pretty
Mm-hmm.
early. But yeah,
Yeah.
in my app here, you just click on this B under web.orangepill app. You actually have some wallet functionality here. So do I need to send an invoice or do I need
No,
to
no, no,
just
no,
copy
no, no. We don't do invoice. Invoice are retarded. Click on receive.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send you 1,000 sats from my wallet of Satoshi. Right? You ready?
You
Let's see
got
how
it,
long it
buddy.
takes. Let's see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Did you get the? Yeah. So did you get the? Go back here.
Oh, no, wait. I actually just got an email I want to show you. So I just
Yeah.
received this email here. You've got sats.
You
Which is
like the
actually pretty cool.
you like the chief. Go back to go get out of this screen. Go click on the arrow left. There you go.
Bam. Wow.
Now,
That's
if you
Bitcoin
actually
and it works.
refresh the web app, we actually now have a pop-up that shows every time you get a payment. We changed it. So let's try again if you want. But anyway, you get the idea.
Yeah.
You might not want to show your messages. But yeah, so the goal is to have, so what happens is this. I thought that the people that would join OrangePill App would be the Bitcoin maxi, right? People like me, people like you that have the wallet and know everything about Bitcoin. The reality is, of course, we got the Bitcoin maxi, but we also got a lot of newbies, which for me was very shocking. And 80% of the people on OrangePill App, which again, they have to pay, right? They never made a Lightning Network transaction. They don't even have a wallet. And so at the beginning, I was like, okay, go to Wallet Satoshi, go to Speed Wallet, get the LA URL, put it in your field in OrangePill App, and then I will send you some sats, right, as a welcoming. And I realized I'm not going to be able to teach 10,000 people what is the Lightning Network, how to get a wallet. So I might as well build the wallet myself inside the app. And then by default, everybody has a wallet, which is what, we've been doing. Again, it's almost, I think it will be live next week. And so what's interesting to think about the wallet, I believe the biggest Bitcoin wallet will not be a Bitcoin wallet. So let me give an example. So the biggest dating app in the world, you might think is Tinder. It's not. It's Instagram, which is not a dating app, right? Because of scale, there's more people on Instagram and they have pictures. So there's more dating happening in a non-dating app than on a dating app. And I think what's going to happen with the Bitcoin wallets, there's going to be more people using a Bitcoin wallet in a non-Bitcoin wallet app, OrangePill app, or some Nostr client, because it would just be built in the product. So instead of downloading OrangePill app and a wallet, you'll download OrangePill app, and that would be the only wallet you're going to use. And so we have an opportunity. Well, number one, we're going to onboard 10,000 people to the Lightning Network overnight. In fact, we're going to give a wallet even to people that are not on the app. So we have created 35,000 wallets last week. And we're going to airdrop sats into their wallet. They're going to get an email. And of course, if they want to use the wallet, they need to get a membership. So that's a way for us to do marketing, customer acquisition to the wallet. The goal is to be the fastest, the easiest to use, and the most beautiful wallet ever built. So there's no invoices. Invoices are not a good UI. So think about if I ask you, Mike, what is the biggest payment company in the world? Payment app in the world? PayPal, right? Now, how does PayPal work? There's no invoice. They say, hey, here's my PayPal username, go and send me money, right? And so LN URLs is the equivalent of PayPal for Bitcoin. There's no need to do invoices that then expires. Oh, can you send me another invoice? It's not a good UI. Also, we're not going to have on-chain. On-chain is not good UI. Transaction fees, they spike. You make a transaction and then it's stuck. And then I get an email. Hey, I made this payment, but it haven't gone through. Can you check? So that's a non-starter. So we just want to go. We're going to scale where the puck is going. And I don't want to go too philosophical about fees and on-chain transaction, but eventually most of the Bitcoin volume will be on Lightning. And so we just got to build the Lightning only wallet. Now, something that's interesting. Now, you've been in Bitcoin probably as long as me. I remember when the Lightning Network came out in 2017, 2018, and half of the transaction would just fail. I don't know if you remember that.
Of course.
Right? Maybe more than half. It was not good. It was not good.
You couldn't get a transaction through that was any meaningful.
Yeah, especially if it was more than $100, it was impossible. Now, the wallet that I just showed you, we have one channel only. We have only one channel. And I've tried every single wallet. I've asked people try every single, and you cannot get a failed transaction anymore. But that's how good the Lightning Network has become, and which is why we're just betting on the Lightning Network just getting better and faster and more capacity. So yes, it's going to be Lightning only, custodial. You can withdraw anytime. We don't lock funds. It's none of that BS. We take a 0.5% fees, which is very reasonable, and we expect that it bring about 10% of additional revenue. So that's one of the way we're going to get to 1 million revenue on 2025. After that, we're going to build the RSVP management, which RSVP, for events. So we have the largest repository of Bitcoin only events in the world. We scrape them. We found website that have all the events outside of OrangePill App. Plus we have OrangePill App only events. So we have at any given time, we have 400 or more events on the app. Pretty much, any major city in the world has a Bitcoin event. So we're going to allow people to RSVP. The organizer have the whole list of who's coming, their profiles, they can DM them. And that's all in prelude of building the next big product, which is the ticketing platform. So I made some research, and there's about $100 million of tickets sold in the last 2023-24 for Bitcoin conference, Bitcoin events in the world. You sold some tickets, as you mentioned, and we want to become the ticketing platform. Also, there is none. Eventbrite is not Bitcoin. What is the other one? Ticketmaster. There is not a Bitcoin only ticketing platform in the world. And because we already have the events, and we already have the people that go into the events, it's very easy for us to build the ticketing platform and overnight enable people to sell and buy tickets to their platform. And so, and we'll charge a 6.5% commission. Now, if you have a balance in your Bitcoin wallet and OrangePill App, you can just click one button and get the ticket. So the Bitcoin goes into the background, which I think is how Bitcoin is going to eventually win, where you don't even know you're paying with Bitcoin. You see the price, you click buy ticket, and, we'll deduct the amount from your wallet. And, no invoice, no, typing anything. So I think Bitcoin wins by going into the background, not just, again, the invoice all that kind of stuff. And we expect to bring at least $100,000 in the first year from the sales of tickets. We take a 6.15% commission. So, if we sell $1 million of tickets, it's $61,000 and so on and so forth. And, I already have the relationship, and I know you and your wife are part of Bitcoin Magazine. I already had the relationship with all the Bitcoin covers in the world. And so it's quite trivial for us to capture that market from the get-go. And then the last thing we're going to build for this year, it's going to be video and voice call through the app. Now, you might ask, why do you need that? Because, you already have Telegram and WhatsApp and phone numbers. And people have told me, look, I don't want to give my WhatsApp number to anybody. I'm already on OrangePill App. I don't want to give my email. I don't want to give my phone number. So why don't you let me have a voice? Why don't you let me make a phone call through the app so that before I meet somebody, I can actually have a call to get a better sense for security and so forth. So we're going to launch video and voice call. And, the goal is to be kind of the super app, but for the social part of the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, I'm really excited about those video and voice calls. And I definitely would love to be using the ticketing platform all the time because it works great. And, you have a captive audience of people that are inside the app. So if you're
Right.
promoting your meetup or your event, that is definitely where you want it. So, boy, we've been talking quite a while, and I have a few things here. Let's try and lightning round it together here. So, you know, this is a mini Michael Saylor moment. No, I'm just joking with you, but you have 3.6 Bitcoin in your corporate treasury, and you've seen 2.3x growth last year, which is awesome. So, how has the Bitcoin standard worked for you so far since you've been on it? And how much is your revenue in Bitcoin versus credit card? I know when I first came on to OrangePill app, I just bought the lifetime membership. I thought that would be the best deal. I didn't want to deal with monthly charges on my credit card and all of that stuff. So how has the Bitcoin standard worked for you in terms of your corporate treasury? And then what's the revenue makeup of Bitcoin versus?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you know anything about the Bitcoin price performance in the last year, obviously, I don't have to say that Bitcoin, more than double. I mean, actually, we launched at the real bottom of the bear market. We launched on November 9th, 2022, was a Wednesday. FTX blew up the Friday before. When we launched, the price was like below 16,000. Now it's about 100,000, almost 10x, 8x. So yeah, Bitcoin treasury makes perfect sense. It also gives for investor that might say, well, maybe your company is not going to perform Bitcoin, which from 100K, it gets easier, right? And by all the Bitcoin ourselves, we give exposure to the Bitcoin price appreciation and the business appreciation. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. In terms of the revenue makeup, actually, I can tell you exact number. So think about this. 12% of our members are paid with Bitcoin. However, because of, we don't do the monthly on the Bitcoin, 45% of our revenue is through Bitcoin. And the best part is that Bitcoin we generate, that increases, 10% a month, sometimes it doubles, right? Yeah, if you're a Bitcoin company and you're not stuck in Bitcoin, I think it's not the smart thing to do. The smart thing to do is to, instead of trying to accumulate dollars, you should try to accumulate Bitcoin.
So yeah, that's a great point. And that's kind of what we're playing for here. And what we do is investing in Bitcoin startups and Bitcoin companies leverages your exposure to Bitcoin because number one, I believe all those companies actually have Bitcoin on their balance sheet and it's still very early. So let's run through your advisors real quick. You've got a lot of fancy people helping you out and working with you here. Is there anyone that's missing on this sheet? Is there anyone who's not?
The BTC session is missing from the. I have so many advisors. Sometimes I forget how many I have. But it's Nazali, which everybody knows. She's great. She has all the contact. She's trying to get Michael Saylor on the app. I'm sure at some point she will be able to.
You're gonna make him
Uh,
pay, that's the problem is you're gonna make Michael Saylor pay.
Listen, I made a GigaChat membership just for him. When I created that GigaChat membership, I was thinking about him. Yeah, yes, I think he can afford it. I'm not sure, but I think he can afford it. So, and then Nico runs on Simply Bitcoin, Knut, Svan Home, also our podcast. Dan Prince, very good guy. He managed every single podcast that he does. He managed to talk about OrangePill App in one way or another, which is one of the reasons why we're growing so fast. Yeah, so we have a great group. So the reason that actually is funny because I don't have a co-founder. And at some point I was like, man, I really need a co-founder, but the app is already live. It's hard to find co-founders after you launch. I just say, I'm just going to get an advisor and kind of combine them and create a co-founder. So that's the reason why I was very aggressive in, getting this advisor. And I was blessed that they actually agreed to be part of the team.
So let's talk about real quick, and maybe we can close it out here and just mention your upcoming 2025 stuff. But competition, is there anyone in the Bitcoin space that is even thinking about playing in this market? If you had to have a competitive landscape, is it just the legacy players who really are not niche focused in this area? Give a little bit of the overview on the current competitive landscape.
Yeah, so I guess there's nobody that has this local focus on Bitcoin social layer. Twitter is not local based, Nostr, which is great, but it's not local based. Instagram is so Telegram. I guess Telegram, you can have local group chat, kind of local, but you need to find them first. And then the problem with the group chat in Telegram is that they're full of bots, they're full of scammers because it's free, right? The same problem is like, so is there anybody that has a paywalled location-based social network for Bitcoin? No. Would there ever be somebody? I doubt that somebody's gonna be as crazy as me to think you can start a network from scratch with a paywall. Although I prove obviously it's doable. You can replicate, again, it's kind of like Bitcoin. You cannot replicate the network. Like network effects are really difficult to achieve. But once you have them, it's really difficult to disrupt them, right? And so there are the question is, if OrangePill App wouldn't exist, how would you find local Bitcoiners? You go on Twitter, you say, hey, I'm in Los Angeles, anybody nearby? Which, you might get somebody. Actually, when we launch, I used to make a bet with people say, I'm not going to pay for your app. I can just do on Twitter. I say, okay, look, I'll give you $100 if you can find Bitcoiners in your city on Twitter faster than you can do so on OrangePill App. You know how many bets I lost? 0. It's that because this is our focus. And when you're focused on doing one thing and one thing only, you're most likely doing it better than a huge company that does 1,000 things and doesn't have that focus, right? Also, some investors say, wow, why wouldn't Twitter go after the Bitcoin ecosystem? I'm like, it's way too small for a company like Twitter or Instagram or, there's probably 1 million Bitcoin maxi in the world, if that, today. So a company that has hundreds of millions of users is not going to start building products for 1 million, for a market that's 1 million people. And most importantly, I think Bitcoiners will not use those products. So the example that I give is like, why doesn't McDonald's has a vegan menu option? They have the supply chain, they have everything. They don't have a vegan option because no vegan will ever go to McDonald's. And so I think Bitcoiners want to use Bitcoin products made by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners, which is kind of give us this moat of a very strong moat. And, maybe at some point somebody will try to compete directly with OrangePill App. It's a network product, which is, the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to catch up. So we'll see,
So, okay. So closing it out here for 2025 upcoming, there's no ads on the app. Like you have the merchants and we're a supporter in one way or another. We're listed as one of those there. But For conferences coming up and becoming an official partner or working
Yeah.
with them, I know that that was something that you really focused on, maybe in 2023, right? There was a lot more of that. Is that still a focus? Are they a big revenue partner as far as like the merchants go? And
So
when you wait, one thing, when you say
yeah.
merchants, right? You've got like a dentist in New Jersey who accepts Bitcoin, or something like that. I'm just making it up. Like, is that what you mean by merchants, or do you mean like maybe a company like Voltage or a Bitcoin business or something? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. If it's not local, it doesn't belong to OrangePill App. So it has to be local, which is so the dentist. I mean, we have more than 100 merchants now. There's the hairdresser, the sauna, the restaurants, the bakeries. There is actually a dentist in Denver, a very funny guy. Yeah, so it has to be local. That's our focus. That's our niche. If it's not local, it doesn't belong to OrangePill App. When it comes to conference, yeah. So again, we're heads down building the RSVP management and the ticketing platform. But yeah, in terms of advertising, you can actually do a little bit of advertising with the banner on the events, which we do, and we should probably go back and talk with more conference, where you can advertise only if it's a Bitcoin only conference. You can get a banner and it costs, I don't know, $500 a month. And everybody that goes into the events section of the app will see that banner. So that's the only advertising we do. But again, it's Bitcoin only, it's not in your face. You have to go to that tab. But yeah, conference is going to be, once we have the ticketing platform, our focus in terms of revenue growth is definitely going to be all the conference should sell tickets through OrangePill App. Bitcoin only, we take 6.15% commission, which is, by the way, is lower than anybody else. I think everybody's 10%. And we already have the people that go to the conference because people on OrangePill App, they usually go to conferences. So it's kind of like a no-brainer.
Cool. All right. So, Matteo, this has been great. And do you have anything that you want to say to close it out on what you're excited about in 2025, what you're excited about in general? I know that you got a baby due any minute now. You keep mining blocks over there. Congrats on that. What do you want to say? Anything?
I'm going to say, I think 2025, 2026 are going to be incredible years for Bitcoin. We already seen with with the new administration in Washington, like it's like 5 days, all the things that have happened in the Bitcoin world, it's like unbelievable. And I know some Bitcoiners always want more and, I get it, but you have to be pragmatic. Yeah, I think 2025 is the year to build great Bitcoin companies and build great Bitcoin friendship and yeah, accelerate as fast as you can because I think we're literally on the golden age in general, but definitely we're in the golden Bitcoin age, which is funny because gold and Bitcoin, they don't go well together, but you get the point.
Awesome. So we'll put a bunch of links below. Sign up for the OrangePill app. Check out thunderfunder.com. Get Matteo all of your feedback. Get in all the groups. We didn't even talk about group chats and all the other things that you launched as well. Keep up the great work. Congrats on running a profitable, hyper growing company. And we will check in with you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mike.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.